Yeah.
And it matches one of the listening sessions about 5-6 months ago. I took a picture of where it would be, and it's exactly lined up the way they had it in the listening session. And, you know, that's
Gee, just got off the phone with Sonny Cloud.
5x5, that's pretty heavy.
And him and Rick
So
Baker,
usually
at
the
Texas Roadhouse up in Hilliard. Next
I'm not sure what it's for, either handwritten,
along with Susie K.
the back, or maybe
I'm really looking forward to that. The old gang.
No,
You could say hello.
Well, hello, Kitty.
How are you?
It'll be,
If I could hear you tonight.
I just know
That's
that's
the
one.
memory created.
That's what the ramp can only touch the concrete, you know,
So
so.
you're going to see Dr. King?
Oh, so the ramp touches the concrete.
Yeah, it'll,
I see.
yeah, the dock
3 months.
and the ramp from the dock.
I have to say, I have no clue
But I just take,
No
I get by.
as to why they did
About
not.
7 hours and I was able to do it.
Yeah. That's what.
Why wouldn't you have like a form?
Yeah.
So that form.
Exactly.
I don't know.
You know, now.
I got the guy who owns the precast business, and he did it all.
But it was the same, the last time I was here, you were going to sing.
I haven't.
Okay.
Papers for you?
I found him, he's got the best, he's a good guy to talk to. I don't know if he's maybe the best stock in the world.
Supposed to announce the design of the docks in mid-September.
I kinda like him.
Because they still have poles with the actual allowed to be there.
Do you think it'll connect, but no one's ever seen a picture of the actual brand or dock, have they?
No, the only thing they put in the rendering is a floating dock, which most people would say won't work there, because you get that southwest breeze. Even like today, it's been a bad day for the dock.
Well, I would think something is, you wanna share my stuff, cause I have 4 of these. We can share mine. I'll give this to John.
Yep.
Show him make 4.
I have no idea, I don't go there, so.
Here, John.
Yeah, my daughter's.
Okay, what time is it? We're not quite ready. are we?
No, you have 3 minutes to mesmerize. You have 3 minutes to go over that. And there'll be a test at 6:30.
No.
So where did you get all this information?
I mean,
Treasurer.
And if I want a referral someplace, and I don't necessarily feel comfortable and the problem is some I wouldn't see it very common. The best one to do it, that's a good make.
Is that what you want? How much interest?
Do you have?
No.
Oh, there's Swiss.
Okay.
I put a Rubik's over in.
Oh, you did?
Just like, I sent you
And,
down.
I think you're here and it's going to be around
How much?
And
I'm worried about
she's very good. I have
Rubisky?
R-A-B-I-T-S, I can send you the information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any grandbaby
I
yet?
don't know if she takes Medicare.
Not yet, any minute still.
I don't think.
Any minute?
She lost her flood. So
What's that?
she lost the flood, you know, the flood.
Rubisky?
R-A-T-B-I-S-K-Y. R-A-T-B-I-S-K-Y.
So I think.
Oh, you seem like really good.
Yes.
She's
I
been
have,
really.
So that makes it
Really well done.
seniors, they can let go for the medical guy. She has it, but the doc won't let go for more than 2 days now. A few days
Are you
ago.
saying the water was broken?
Can I use my mallet?
The mucus plug.
Oh, the mucus, okay.
Hey, Bill, watch this here. I'm gonna start the finance committee meeting now.
Hey.
I never used it. Wow.
Guess who owns that?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
That was handmade,
Yeah,
Really
by,
nice.
for me by Bob Van Geisel or something,
Yeah.
lives on Fifth Street.
and is that what the judge
It was handmade out of his own wood and everything.
Much of it.
Okay.
You do have to give us a
But
warning
it's
about
nice.
bringing our reading glasses.
I'm so
All right.
impatient with you doing.
Page 3, Bill.
Limbo.
Fourth line down, what to say?
I want to know, I got it.
You're right, okay.
$10
You're a graduate.
for that place over there. What's it?
Okay,
Go.
so, I asked to have us kind of mid-year updated. That is what this, 8-20, called appropriation status, right here. So, I don't expect everyone to have read this, because it's just
Hardly, we just got
today,
it.
you just got it, okay? So you can take it home, there'll be an online quiz, okay? There's also the cash flow detail, financial worksheet program, okay? And there is a memo from the clerk treasurer's office for the village of Buckeye Lake. It's important to remember that although each fund is like its own separate pot of money, you should never evaluate one fund without looking at the revenue and appropriations budget.
Right.
Okay, reports. You have 3 reports to use for evaluating the appropriation lines. The financial worksheet gives you a perspective of the last 4 years. This report allows you to see fund balances, fund adjustments, as well as revenues, expenses broken out by appropriation line. Cash flow detail by fund gives you a month-by-month breakdown of revenue and expenses. Appropriation status is a year-to-date listing. Now, I'm not going to read all these because you all can read. Items to consider for the 2018 appropriations and coming into the 2019 budget. The village received $22,000 for a purchase of a parcel to ODNR that was placed in the general fund. Finance Committee recommended the council that $5,000 of the 22 be appropriated for the police department building repairs and another $5,000 for the replacement of the back doors that the state fire marshal mandated exit they're called easy exit doors in council chambers. There was a recommendation to use $5,000 of the remaining 12 for code enforcement issues, and then there's a recommendation by our treasurer.
I don't remember that, you?
No, I don't.
No, that was not said.
Okay. Of the remaining 7, okay, that are still outstanding. Okay. I would agree with Kitty. I am aware of the 5,000 and the 5,000
Right.
for the back door, but I wanted to keep the rest for what may come up. So I don't recall, when it says there was a recommendation.
I don't know where it came from, it didn't come from us.
I'm just reading what she says, so,
Tom,
okay.
I can clarify for you. There was a recommendation she's talking about from me. She wasn't
Okay.
trying to say it's from you.
Okay, so Peggy had recommended that. All right. The mayor's prepared a list of expenses for revamping the police department. I'd like to point out there's the most always purchased by the builder's rate, which is substantially below retail, council also needs to address placing a levy, police levy, that is, on the May 2019. Now, I'm just going to throw out that we can levy ourselves till we're blue in the face. I'm just saying this as finance director. But the council, or not the council, but the charter, and we need a charter review committee, would allow us, like Millersport, to put on an income tax, like a 0.5% or 1%. I'm just saying. When I talked to them a few months ago, just say, how are you doing? We're the friendly village down the street. They had indicated to me that it was quite a game changer down there to have this income from that, and the only little town down in their county that didn't have it was Thornton. So they were like, Lancaster has it, blah, blah, blah. So they compared that. I don't know if that's fact, I'm just being told that. So,
But I think it's important that we at least have a 5 mil levy for the police department, which looks like it would bring in at least another $100,000, which would minimize what they have to get out of the GRF.
yeah, now the village receives about $96,000 a year from the police levy.
It looks like 104,000 something to me.
Yeah, she gave us, I didn't bring it with me.
I had it, she said 104,000,
Kitty,
and-
if Kitty's got it, you might want to take a look at it there.
and then the other levy is 224,000, and ours was a 3 mil levy, and the fire levy was, sorry, the operating levy was 5
Yeah.
mils, right? And so if we brought it off, we should at least get 100,000. But I don't know why it wouldn't be identical to the 5.
I
that we're
think,
getting in the
the direction that sort of needs discussed sometime, it's really not on this agenda, but are we doing levies, or are we doing, you know, possibly income tax after a charter review? All right, salaries on the average are paid 34% the average rate. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna read through there, but, okay. Made a motion to set aside 30,000 for a new ambulance in July of this year. Finance committee, that must have been the meeting I was not at. Someone,
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
I never heard
Because
that.
I'm on finance and
because I was not at a meeting, I
So,
think.
okay, okay.
Okay,
Did
I
you
was
hear
not
that
at the
30,000?
meeting, the last meeting, which was a couple weeks ago,
Didn't have-
in July of this year. Then it says the finance committee made a motion to set aside money. I'm not aware of any motion. We got the chief here. But can you were you at that meeting?
I was not, and I don't recall coming forward and asking you to set, I certainly
No.
appreciated it if you said
No.
300,000 aside, that'd be great, but,
Well, I mean, I get that you need a new ambulance, but I think the folks on the committee are like, don't recall that, and you don't either. Okay. So I'm gonna mark, no one knows this. Okay. All right. Purchase a demo fire truck. It says earlier in the month, Chief Mason approached me, that would be the treasurer, regarding an opportunity to purchase a demo fire truck. Significant savings, $240,000.
Did you have the money?
I did in fact do that.
Okay.
I have 2 engines that are very aged. One we don't use as an engine anymore, it's more as a rescue, which is some tools on it. What we're looking at, in fact, we're meeting this evening to further discuss that amongst us, but what we're looking at, it's called a mini attack pumper. It's on a Ford 550 chassis.
Yeah.
Has 5 or 750 gallon of water and 30 gallon of foam. It can carry up to 500 foot of 5-inch hose. We've had it out, we've driven it on almost every single street that we ever had concern about or they had concerns about. It's able to maneuver. You can put at least 4 people in it. It's on a pickup truck chassis. We had it out one night at the water tower and worked it for the better part of almost 2 hours, flowing water. It will do absolutely everything that a real big $600,000 fire engine will do, and probably better, because we're able to maneuver it around the streets. This is a demonstration unit. It's built, it's got, I want to say 5,200 miles on it, something like that. For them to add some things that we all have met about and talked, we'd like to have some lights on it, we'd like to have this on it, that on it, to make it ours, roughly $240,000.
All right, so that you know what the big question is funds to buy that.
And all I said to Rochelle was, we need to talk about this as the budget process for 2019 comes forward, and if that's something we can finance, then I would like to at least consider doing that.
How old is this, Chief?
I'm sorry?
How old is this?
It's an 18. It's a new truck. It's not been used. It's a demonstration. They
demo.
take it around and show it to different fire departments.
How much would the new one be?
This new one, just like this, $325,000.
And
then
And it would take 18 months to build.
And a regular pumper truck, 600,000?
Regular pumper truck, you're looking at $600,000.
Would they put all the stuff you need on it and still pay them $240,000?
The way, what they've done is showed us the vehicle, and then we said we'd like to have a couple lights on it, to light up a scene. We'd like to have a roll-out compartment here to help get things, the small tools, the connections, a little bit easier. All the things that we've asked for, $240,000. That's complete. The truck itself, without that's $228,000. I think he said 220, I mean, I can look, I've got it in
That's
there.
Okay.
229 or 230, and we're basically asking for $12,000 to $15,000 worth of stuff to make it so that you could put that stuff on the truck, you could put it in the firehouse and take it out and go
So
back.
some villages, lease or do different financial tools, they just don't always write a check.
Right, and that's one of the things that I was sharing with her, that, you know, we need to look at the options if that's something that we can.
Can you look at those, like, because
Absolutely.
that may be our option,
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah. be happy.
But I think, would I be speaking on behalf of the committee to say, look into this? I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's shaking their head, yes, so,
Yeah.
we'd
Might be
like
a
to
lost
know more.
opportunity if you don't.
I professionally, you know what that means, so, thank you.
Can I ask a question, real quick? This new bridge we just put in on the dam road, whatever we're gonna call it, it's a little bit over 12 foot wide. And I was told by one of the engineers on the project that it will support, emergency vehicle weight. What would be the width of this thing? I mean, if you ever had to run down, the bank and across the bridge, and
I will look, it's probably, the specs are in the email, I will look and tell you.
10.2 is when I looked them up, seemed to be a
This is-
mini company.
This is built on a Ford
Yeah,
F-550 chassis.
But
It's
that-
nothing more than a heavy-duty pickup truck.
but I was thinking that with this, the state's investment in this bridge, the one they just put in, and the one that they're gonna put at Sellers, which is not within our bailiwick here, but, with the state seeming interest in, because at first they weren't going to make the load bearing of that bridge comparable to a truck. They now have. So there's, up in Columbus, there's some thought about public safety related to being able to get to a scene, on the waterfront, whether it be a drowning or whatever, or a boat fire or whatever. And I don't know the avenues, Mr. French knows them better than I, might be that this, we might be able to get a little money out of the state since they seem to have recognized the need for public safety on the towpath. And I mean, there's gonna be a bunch of people, we hope at least, people up there, and we're talking heart attacks and everything else, so that's.
Mr. Geiger and members of council and mayor, I can tell you right now, a firefighter approached me last week and said, Chief, what if I looked into a grant through ODNR,
Yeah.
Bureau of Workers' Compensation, about buying a, for the lack of better terms, a Gator or a Kawasaki, that you could put a skid in a bed. I told him to move forward. He is in the process of researching that, whether it's a Kawasaki or a Suzuki or, you know, whoever makes it, John Deere. But he is looking into that, and he's going to get that information and get back to us.
But it does appear like ODNR is at least now thinking in that direction, and that represents. So that's good. We're moving.
Yeah.
All right, good job, thank you. Jefferson Health Plan has invoiced the village for $9,000 for full funding. They've stated claims will now be placed on hold until payments received. I'm not gonna get into the details. I want people to be aware of that, but certainly that just seems to be a monumental headache on this, and maybe we'll drill down on this healthcare. Why is it,
For how long is the 9,000?
how much?
How long is the 9,000 cover?
I don't know, it's not specific in here, I'm just detailing it. That needs addressed.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, bridge and tap projects. Council committed to match these monies, $93,000 in 2019. You can read that last sentence. Match for 2020, 21, 22, it's $129.95 and $33 respectively.
Match for what?
That's the monies to do this bridge and the sidewalks.
Okay.
Okay? Now, some of this is for information tonight. We're not voting or doing, I mean, we're getting an update. That's kind of the function. So, I'm not asking to be voted on. She's saying that some of these funds. Now, from what I understand, some of the sub-funds, you might say, you have a general fund, you have an allocation, but the detail of that needs filled in. So like that's 1,000-490-100. That would be out of the general fund. 1,090-200. Each one of those sub-funds would be like to fund our code people salaries. We have it in a general fund with the intention of that. We need now to move it to pay them.
Well, why that kind of money? It's 8,200 and 8,200 and 11,005, or 1,150, both for zoning code enforcement.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that this has to do with pension.
This is salary and pension.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. The other is, you can look at those general funds in there, 27, 45, 97. Now, one is for police. We're also saying we need to move money, $16,400 for operating supplies, repairs, and maintenance for the police. Okay?
Where's the personnel? That's what it is.
Appropriations, $20,000 to repay for the advancement of the general, completed in March, establishing cost centers to identify ammunition, range expenses, as well as impounding. Okay, we're talking about next year, we need money for training.
Yeah.
Okay?
Where's the salary?
Pardon me?
Where's the salary for our police?
I don't know if she's got this as, yeah. Mark on your sheets, under police, the word salary. I see operating supplies and repairs. Kitty's mentioned the word salaries or
Tom, do you see?
operating.
Tom, excuse me, but if you look up, the title of this section of her report is highlighted in bold, supplemental appropriations to be addressed immediately. She's identifying these line items as immediate needs, or these things can't get paid. So salaries is probably a good thing to look
What
at
you're saying
too.
is salaries is already probably done, but there's no money
Where does that say?
for supplies or repairs, or an inadequate amount. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at 1,710,200, the last item under general fund, she says increase $4,597 for pension and salary costs.
It has
Okay.
nothing budgeted, but we're approved. So would that hire another body?
I have a question,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that there were line items and purchase orders that were deleted by Chris Kirby.
Right.
Is
Correct.
that correct?
We
No.
think that's correct.
No,
Okay.
no, that's, if you want, do you want?
Well, that's what we were told,
That's, no,
that the line items, that the money in the line items, and I was showed it, were taken out and they were shifted to someone else, to somewhere else that we never heard where the money went.
Tom?
All right, go ahead, Peggy.
Okay. The line items were not deleted.
The money in the line items, I said, were deleted.
That's the distinction.
Is that what you're saying, the money's deleted out of those line items? Now we're
Okay, but
putting the
how
money
can
back
you-
in.
How can you delete money out of a line item without deleting the whole thing? Because it's my understanding, like I said, you can't pay bills unless, I know
It's in the
purchase-
right line item.
Right, I know purchase orders
Yeah.
were deleted. And like I said, the understanding was that there were line items that were deleted out, and line items had to be reinstated along with money in order for bills and stuff to get paid.
Yeah.
Tom,
So here's what happened. If y'all remember, previous to Chris Kirby, we had a clerk treasurer who oftentimes had a practice of appropriating the entire amount for a year on specific line items. And what that does is once you do that, if you appropriate the entire amount, then often you can't, it reduces your flexibility. But there were so many errors that needed to be corrected. Chris Kirby was in the middle of doing that. His process was zeroing out a lot of accounts so that, and when you zero out an account, it doesn't mean the line item disappears, it stays in there. Once you use a UAN, we've got, for example, the Healthy Living Grant line item, once it's used during the year, it stays there for the rest of the year. It has to complete the whole, process of the budget through the whole end of the year. But the line items were not eliminated, but the dollar amounts were. And what he was going to do was reappropriate, and he was in the process of doing that, and he did get some of that done, but that's when we hired Rochelle. And he warned us, didn't he, that another clerk treasurer could take a different approach and might do something a little different than what he did. So she has not only had to inherit his process, which gave her accounts that were zeroed out and they still haven't been restored, plus she's also been trying to sift through and correct all of the many errors, which many of you have even seen examples of before Rochelle came. Remember we sat at that table when Michelle showed you the double payments, all of the credit. We had a huge credit at the dollar store. Things were double paid and things were paid out of the wrong account. So we have a clerk treasurer now who's very capable but is dealing with the challenges of I don't know how many years Barry was there, at least 5.
But that isn't the issue. The issue is right now we don't even know that there is a balance for the police department. And we do know that the line items are there, but there was no money in it, so the girls can't pay. The girls got an awful mess, and we understand that.
Yeah.
But we need to get this straightened out now.
Yeah.
She's giving you reports to...
But it doesn't answer her question, that's the
But
problem.
here's the question, or here's the point. If there was this issue, why wasn't this brought to the finance committee so that it could be reported to council? We hold the purse strings in this village, and this is information that is needed to make an informed decision. And if we don't know what the heck's going on, we can't make a good informed decision to recommend to council. This is something that should be brought to council.
I would agree with you totally.
Councilor Rutan.
I'm
Councilor
speaking.
Let Councilor
sorry, go
Raton
ahead.
speak
I
here.
mean, you don't hide something like this.
Well, I
And-
think,
Well, let's get it fixed, that's the issue.
I think we want to get it fixed.
Just get it fixed.
So
Let's leave that
how
as
do
a
we
vote
fix
that's
it? I
balanced.
think she's bringing it to her attention
Yeah.
as this is her attempt after studying, fixing, this is what we need to do. And I agree. The reason we haven't had this meeting before, I don't think she's had her arms around it yet.
No.
And hopefully this does. Now, we flip the next page, the stormwater improvement. This is an informational meeting.
Right.
Stormwater Improvement Fund, the following appropriations. So now what I understand, we have started to take in money.
Right.
Yes.
I did check that earlier when I came in around 2 o'clock. And we have taken in money for the stormwater. Now we begin to allocate those funds.
Yeah.
That's what this page is about. Okay?
Yeah.
That is the memo from the clerk treasurer's office. Okay, the cash flow detail fund is, I think, something that we're all just gonna have to take. I mean, I couldn't digest this all tonight or give you good answers. I'd be a fool to sit here and mislead anybody. I think we all need to read these, put our arms around it as our responsibility, and come back with questions, so we can make informed decisions like, Councilor Ruton mentioned.
Well, here's the issue. Rochelle needs something in those line items for the police department, for the police chief to get up and get that department running.
So there
We
was
need
an
to get those
ordinance for
line
that.
items
Wasn't there
in
an
there.
ordinance that came last
Yeah, but
Monday?
she didn't give us any
We
information.
had no information.
Okay,
You know, we didn't know what it was all about. It didn't come before finance. So, you know, how can you vote on something that you know nothing about? And
I
you
agree.
can't, you know,
I totally agree.
So we need to look at that tonight, if nothing else, to get that much cleared up.
right,
So
because
that we know that each of the departments has a budget that's functioning.
Do we have a
Police
copy of
department-
that ordinance
Sorry.
that was presented? I was not here at that meeting or, session.
I mean,
It
we
included the
do need to get
stormwater.
something for the police department.
Yeah.
We've got to have the money to operate. We need to get,
Is there anyone opposed to that here?
No. that's
So there's
something
no
we're-
one opposed to that. I'm
That's how
kind
we
of
do it.
for, and I don't know what your thought is, but when I first saw that one ordinance,
Yeah.
it had like 5 things.
and I didn't know what.
Okay, and I don't know if we all understood each 5 things. You might get 1, you might get 3, you might get 2, but then for us to vote on all 5, I think we're gonna end up with nothing. I would like to see, because I think it's easier, now this is part of the discussion, I would like to see almost 4 ordinances or 3 at least to where one's for the police, one's for this, one's for that, because this finance committee does not have a problem with funding the police department
No.
right now.
No.
So, I mean, if we have an ordinance come up as emergency measure so they can operate, it'll be passed.
If we
Okay?
know the money is there.
If
But
we
right
know the
now, we
money's
don't
there.
have a balance, and I don't know what the
Well, the
fire
next
chief
meeting
has
would
as
be
a
Monday
balance.
night. The ordinance could come forward. I would like to see as at least the police. Now, what else is on that ordinance? I will, at this moment, Peggy, if you have a thought of what else would be on that. Do you?
Well, first, I'd like to defend that in her absence, the clerk treasurer. There was a meeting, she couldn't come tonight because she was told about this like 24 hours ago or
That's fine.
whatever. She's at her daughter's volleyball game. She was present, if you read the email in response to another email, which you all got, I think, she was here at the finance meeting that Tom couldn't make, but she sat there and was grilled for 50 minutes about specific questions that could have been answered in a meeting.
We're not asking you
Can
to
I-
take this kind of time,
can
Peggy,
I-
we don't have the
Can I
time.
please, I don't interrupt you, Kitty, would you?
No, but you take
You
up
don't
time
let-
trying to demonize everyone else.
You demonized the clerk treasurer, and
That's not
she's
true.
not here.
That is not
And
true.
Well, hey,
That is not true, Peggy, and I
Lady.
resent you saying that.
Lady,
I'm merely
lady.
saying, listen, I'm merely saying that she wanted money in the budget, and she wanted the line items.
She
We
was
need to know
here.
there's a balance.
She was here to, I was trying to get to the point that she was simply here to present a solution to the shortfalls in the budget.
Did she give us the
And she was
information?
not given the opportunity, just like you're not giving me a chance to finish a sentence. And you know what? I really feel like this is a waste of my time. I'm not sure I want to stay and be involved.
Arletta, did she give us information?
Okay.
Because you didn't give her a chance.
Hey,
Don't
Peggy,
say
Peggy,
I
Peggy.
apologize.
Chair,
John,
I
go ahead.
apologize.
Can I move, I would like to move forward a little bit and ask for some clarity.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just a simple budget person.
I just have to put.
Do we have money, hidden or not, I don't know about the word hide as inappropriate for what's transpired, but do we have money in the police line items, without me reading through this, that we could pay right now if we wanted to?
That's
Is
the
there any
question.
money?
Do we have to restore the funds that
Yeah,
Or
is
zeroed
it,
out?
do we have zero?
I think-
Does it mean that we can't go to the computer and pay for whatever it is that we need to support our developing police department?
My question is, when can this be done? Can we get it done by this upcoming council meeting?
Well,
6 days from
I
now?
would,
And if
I
the
would
answer is
suggest
zero, when can your...
that she bring an ordinance to the council meeting and be approved, as an emergency measure for the police, and she answered those balance questions for us, so, okay?
So where's the budget, the balanced budget for the police department that can be spread out? That's what we need to
Sharon, do you
know.
want the detail of that? I don't know if it's buried in here, but I can tell you with all this 17, 18 pages, she'll be here Monday, we'll ask that question.
Where is it?
I'm saying,
It's-
I
Monday
don't know
is too
that, I'm
late.
saying she'll have to come Monday.
Well, I think it's too late Monday. We need to know
People,
that now.
supplemental appropriations to be addressed immediately are detailed on the last 2 pages of this report. You
Let's see.
can't seem to
Okay, let's
read
see it.
what she gives you. It's
Well,
amazing.
she's saying right here in the police, she wants to have these things done, okay? Your question is, what is the balance?
Yes.
Okay.
What's
They're
it?
two separate questions, I get it.
You have a
And
report.
what she'd like to do is say, we need to move this. One of the members of the finance is saying, what is the current balance? We want to know the current balance.
So that this is available.
Yes,
She
and yes.
gives me reports. If you look at these reports,
I agree, it's probably in that
it
report,
certainly is.
but we don't know how to get to it
Well, Peggy,
in this
tell us the
moment.
balance right now of the police, for the police department. You said it's there. Do you have the balance for the police department? Peggy says it's
Look at the
there.
appropriation status. And then you
Okay.
go down to, I think we need a plan on how to reduce it. 2905 is your account line for the police department. Depends on which account you want to look at. There's a whole bunch of zeros over there.
The
You see
police
that?
levy is right here, as Peggy,
Page
page
11 of
10 is
18.
where it starts, 10 of
Yes.
18.
Okay.
Right up here, pooled balance, $7,140.15.
So that's all they have?
I think that is all they have.
Well, then how can you have, these budget items, and one item alone is
They have to come from the
16,004?
general fund.
Right?
This
Well, we
is from,
need to know
this
that.
is what's in the levy.
You see all the zero balances on page 11, the unencumbered balance?
See these unencumbered
Yeah.
balances down through here.
What's the minus 899?
You've got columns there, your final appropriation, your current reserve for encumbrance, your year-to-date expenditures, your unencumbered balance, and your year-to-date percentage of what was spent.
It has the appearance to me that on the account code 190, which is personal services, salaries, retirement system, Medicare, pension fund, medical, that type of thing, there is unencumbered balance. But you go on down here to other items, say for example, training costs, 2905, 110, 348, there's nothing. She is trying to say in her letter,
She needs this
she needs
mandatory
it
training.
in Fund 295-120-400. So if everybody goes to that item, 29-120, 2905,
Michelle's going to give us a sheet with the name and number of the account, because this is
Say
not...
that again, Chair.
You said 120, but I'm not.
yes, that's
I
120-400.
see 121.
That's what I'm looking at.
We're looking at 2905, 110, 121, salary. Is that-
No, that's court
That's
treasurer.
court
I know,
They
but
don't-
what number are we on here? I think we're on in the wrong stall.
If you're looking for salaries, it's 190. There's two lines there,
What's the fund code?
2905, 110, 190.
110, 190, she said.
Evidence has 120
Yeah.
dash 400.
That's why it's always more productive to make sure your clerk treasurer can attend your meeting.
This would require some review.
Okay, so going back to where we were, on the police. I think if she comes here on Monday, explains what we need, and it comes out of the general fund, I don't see this as an issue. That's sort of what I want to get at, I don't
Yeah,
care.
with the money there.
That's where we are tonight.
I agree.
She needs to
Fair
come,
enough.
bring an ordinance, okay. The other items that may be on there, I would like to see, like the department head, we'll use whoever that is, and thank you, chief, for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Because he's able to clear up things like we had, like on the firefighting, I appreciate that. So if there's anything else, I think this committee's coming out with, let's Monday have it, present it, it'll probably be passed as emergency for the police. The other things, if it's a separate
What's the
item,
total?
and it can be explained, and we've all had time to read this, we can make a vote on that too.
We still haven't found the reference.
Yeah, the reference 2905-120-400, does anyone see it on the account code that's provided?
I do.
I'm sorry, what are you looking for?
29,
29-120-400.
No, 2905.
yes, 2905, 120.
2905,
I can't. Where do you have a page reference there?
I'm referencing off of her recommendation sheet where it
Okay,
says
nice.
police, and I'm going over to the appropriation status.
Can you just say that again, Chair?
2905.
That number code you just mentioned?
2905, 120, 400.
120,400.
Police salaries. And I'm having trouble finding that same item
That's what we're having a
on
problem
the
with.
appropriation status report.
Right,
I don't see that number popping up at me.
no.
Maybe because I don't know.
I would be in agree, everyone on the committee in agreement, they do not see that.
Can't
Well, the
find.
400 series are supplies and materials. If you look on your financial worksheet, the thickest packet that you have,
2905.
do you know the thickest packet you have like this?
Oh,
Like
Yeah,
this.
the other one, the one I
Yeah.
was looking at.
It says financial worksheet, and if you look at page 41 of 100,
No, let's look at this, this worksheet here.
I'm sorry, say that again, Mayor. What
This-
page?
41?
Page 41 of 100.
41.
So this series.
There we go.
Right, that is, that's a series of 400 numbers, and there is under the title supplies and materials. It could be office supplies, operating supplies, repairs and maintenance,
Taking this
small
number
tools,
here,
and,
2905.
I'm sorry, wait. That's 20, I'm sorry, that's fire, I'm sorry, made a mistake. 2905. Should be about the same thing
yes,
now.
2905.
So go back to page 57,
120.
50,
5,
Here, back up in here, 59. Keep going back this way.
Special revenue.
let me get her sheet on that.
There's 120, 2905, 120, so it should be in here somewhere. No, that's a lot for supplies, 16,000 something dollars.
Yeah, 355, but it's probably,
Operating supplies.
$16,400.
So I think if the police chief is here, let's just go on to what this says. $16,400 for operating supplies and repairs and maintenance. We really want to know some detail on that too.
Yeah.
Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Okay? We're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay? All right. I'm not going to spend all night trying to find it in there. I'd like her to come on Monday to do
Yes,
that.
question.
What? Yes?
One question is, when are we gonna start hiring officers? We cannot continue to leave this village unprotected, and that's become a very serious issue.
I get calls all the time.
This is
People
a
are
finance
upset.
meeting, right?
It's part of a finance committee meeting, wanting to
Priority.
know when we're gonna have the money to hire officers.
Well, right now, this council hasn't put enough money in the budget that the lady can even order a uniform, let alone hire an officer.
Well, we'll do
I
that.
think we're taking care of that.
That's
Yeah,
what we're working
that's
on.
being taken care
I
of. We're
understand.
going to do that. I think that, Counselor, that's another good question. Let's
It's a good
bring that
question.
forward on Monday. Because back here, we were asking about on fire equipment and ambulances, we're starting to get some answers. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. When are we going to hire? Absolutely. Yes.
I just like to, this is my second night in a row here, I'm tired, move forward. Do we need, since the entire finance committee is here, which is good, do we need to make a recommendation that goes to council for Mondays to be possibly an emergency ordinance to allow us to move whatever is need be?
Make that
Yeah, make a motion.
recommendation. Make that and
And make that recommendation.
make that recommendation.
To move whatever it requires within particularly the police budget, within the line item.
These are the recommendation, and then it's going to be followed by a question of when are we going to start hiring more?
She's interviewing right now, she's got some applications she's processing.
Do we want to make a recommendation by vote
Yes,
to do that?
yes,
Jared, do you want to take that vote?
yes.
It's in.
Can I have a vote?
To move, what
Make a
we're saying, in
recommendation.
simplified words, Bill, you're good at this stuff, to adjust the line item 2905 function code to allow for the clerk treasurer to spend monies related to expenses of the police department. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Is that good? I move that.
Can I have a second? And I wrote it down.
And I'll second it.
And Bill second, so, vote,
Yes.
yes.
Yay, as it says in the chart.
Councilman Rutan?
Yeah, we need to, so I take it right now, we have very, very little in the police department budget.
Right. So $7,000 would look like.
Yeah. So, make sure that I understand this, we're making recommendation to council that we appropriate sufficient money to hire new police officers, cover these expenses that are listed here, and she also brought, I can't remember, I wrote it down and I left those notes at home, what it was she wanted, she brought.
I think that this request is for the supplies, repairs.
Yes,
Okay.
not the hiring of.
Another ordinance comes through to hire, or whatever we have to do. And we're for that. We find the money.
To me, and, and this is nothing against what is listed here,
Yeah,
but to me, the hiring of the police officers takes precedence over this, because we've seen an increase in crime in this village.
And
We
the
have
complaints are
break-ins
coming
like
in.
nobody's business, and, but I'm not saying that I'm against it. I just want to see police officers hired as quickly as possible to get them out there. We have really 2 police officers to come in this village.
Somebody gets sick or vacate from work.
And I think it's important to go ahead and do the process, but the process is gonna take a little bit longer than it will be for this coming council meeting. So if this coming council meeting, we just.
Now, I have another
Handle this,
suggestion.
We have a
September
recommendation officially
second
by
meeting.
vote
Yep.
to adjust
Okay.
funding so expenditures can be
But
appropriately
of
made.
2019.
And
I think
purchase.
that's this coming Monday, but I do agree with you that we have to be planning for the next step soon.
Yes, and soon,
We
but
need to have
not for
hiring.
Monday.
Right, okay, I'll agree to that, but we need to start hiring police officers and getting that money in the police department so that we can have officers on the street by the end of the
And I think
year.
everybody's in agreement, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in agreement on
I'm
that.
not
The policeman?
I don't like
People are getting
16,000.
extremely angry.
But I don't like to see 16,000 something spent on supplies and maintenance when I don't know what the priorities are. And the priorities to me, I'm with Rutan and you guys were all saying, we need to get bodies out there.
You know, if it comes, we ask the questions and you don't like the answers, then you vote no,
Yeah.
and we start over again,
But
okay?
that's a shame.
This is a recommendation.
Yeah.
No.
And at this point, again, it's gonna take more than 6
Right.
days to hire the people,
I
you know,
understand.
the background check, so if we can get at least the equipment issues taken care of, and then make sure that we're ready as soon as possible.
Equipment.
We should be doing it now, you know, getting the people hired. It sounds like
Right.
she's at least interviewing and, you know,
Yeah.
taking
Yeah,
applications,
let's-
so.
Tom, to answer Kitty's earlier question, if you guys look at your council packet that you had at the last meeting, cash summary by fund, and fund status, it's a two-sided thing. It has all of the information you want right there. Police levy fund, the balance is $9,762.13. So that's how much is in that fund. Do you recall, I think it was at a finance meeting, when we were budgeting last year for this year, and you had said that you wanted to reduce the amount of money. There was a $35,000 transfer someplace, that you wanted less money to go into the police fund for the beginning of 2018, and then you would release more money instead of, remember that?
That is
It was
correct.
half the amount that they normally would get the year prior, initially, to start with. So that's one of the problems we have. And then in March, if you look at the March, if you look at your March council minutes, you'll see that there was an advance. An advance has to be paid back as a general fund. It was $20,000 advance from the general fund to the police department. So you also have to allow enough to cover that, because that has to be paid back. So you have to put it in there and then pay it back again, I guess. I
So
don't
are
know.
you saying that the 9,762 is still minus 20,000 that needs to be paid back to the general revenue fund?
I think you need to talk to the, I'm not the clerk treasurer, but.
You're right, and that's a clerk treasurer
And so
question.
then we're into the minus balance that they have now?
Clerk treasurer question. Yes, we'll ask her Monday. Okay.
But that's
Tom,
something that,
you usually leave your paperwork up there from the last meeting. Do you not have the thing that you guys, that, I would think you'd have the ordinance right there in front of you, possibly.
You know, I kind of went through that. I do not know why that ordinance isn't sitting here. I just went to thumb through that.
You might have on my computer. That's okay, let's just move on.
Okay.
We're in agreement that.
We're in agreement, we're moving on.
Is the vote done?
Yeah.
Pardon me? Okay,
The
so,
vote is done. Chair, can I ask, the President Council made a good comment, that we might all need somewhat of a primer, because I think when I first came on board here and looked at that first financial, I just went, wow, because it was so. But we have different documents here, and that's how I'd start with my staff, if I had a staff anymore. But anyway, financial worksheet.
Yeah.
We need just a primer. What's this tell us? What's it do? What's it about? If we want to look for something on this, do we look at this sheet? Do we look at the appropriation status? I mean, I kind of know some of this stuff, but I think it would help just to have this document tells you this and this. This document tells you this and this. The cash flow detail fund, define what that means and what it tells you. I mean, I'm not talking an extensive classroom here, I know, but,
Well,
I know.
Rochelle is going to give us a list of
But,
the names of the names equal to the numbers we're looking at.
right, and it's here
Because
under
it doesn't
reports.
make a bit of sense for us to be looking at numbers.
Yeah.
That's why she tried to do that single sheet at council
Yeah.
meeting.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
here, and
So it would,
but it would be helpful just to have, and by the way, if you want to find out how much money you got at any point in time, this is what you look at.
Yeah.
And just put it in,
does this help you? Take a look. I will provide, Kitty will bring that over to show you. But I think that sheet right there that she's bringing may answer your
But does the
question.
police department get money other than the police levy? That's the issue. They keep referring it to as police levy.
They have.
They
I
just
think
so
we
much
talked
from-
about that before.
Yeah.
It's always
And it
separate.
is on that.
It's always
We're
separate.
the sheet that we've been getting at
Yeah.
council meetings.
Yeah, tonight.
It's kind of like law. So this is one of the two. And it is a lot easier to read than thumbing through the 17
I
pages
looked
each
at
one.
And then
Yeah, and it's,
That's in May.
I know, but it's.
But the most recent one,
Yeah,
you
the
have
most
my copy.
recent.
It's right here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
cover everything.
you got it for the
Go
last
through that whole
council
thing
meeting.
where they take
It's
general
called
fund.
fund.
Guys,
yeah.
cash.
just to let you know, Chief Mason needs to leave.
Thanks for attending.
Mind if I leave to go?
Have a great day, and thank you for coming, thanks for the information. I look forward that we could get, some new equipment down there, that's awesome.
Especially a good deal.
So,
Did you see this one?
Makes a lot more sense.
to return to my question. or
Yeah, go ahead.
comment,
See, this is where they're at the 9,000 I
And
told you
now we're
about.
down to 7.
I
We're
see
down to
the
9
effort
now.
here
Where's
to
the 7?
define cash flow detail by fund, gives you a monthly breakdown.
Yeah.
That's good, and we're getting there.
That's the general description. of
That's the
forms.
general description. And maybe, if we're looking for, if we want this, which one of these financial documents is most preferred? I mean, I'm talking about 5 minutes of, and a little bit increased delineation as to the documents we're gonna see. I mean,
Yeah, don't
That's
battle
how-
us with,
I even showed
Fluff and
my
bullshit.
teachers things like that, so they would understand and know I wasn't trying to screw them over with the budget.
Right here.
yeah.
So this is.
Will you see what we're talking about?
See this date?
Yeah,
Okay, over here,
right.
here's this date, right here, 8-20.
I want to know what.
Yeah,
what the
7,000.
I wanna know here to here to here.
Well, here's the problem.
Question.
She came the other night and she said that she had all the figures ready, for Monday, and yet when I asked her Friday, she still didn't have them. I mean,
Well, if
still
we
got nothing.
can't make good decisions, we do what we just did apparently the last time, when we can't vote yes.
Right, and she, you know, she was asked if she had the,
Supplemental
information
stuff.
for, you know, the.
For the ordinance.
when it came up. And she said, well, I've got most of the figures done, but not all.
That's right,
So-
this is the first I've seen.
Yeah.
But-
Okay,
But this gives us a better handle on it. And it's only on decisions that are hard like this that we can make valid decisions.
And this is one of the first times I
Thanks,
think
Chief, I
we
appreciate
have
it.
asked these kind of questions, from a business perspective, I believe, I think maybe.
it should be getting easier from here.
It should get,
This was, I
We're going
think,
down.
the loose ends all tied
Getting used
together
to the
on the
budget
here.
formats. This is my old printout from the different types of budget formats that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
This is how many pages. So it depends on the format that the village uses. We used to use zero balance where I was
Yeah,
from.
right.
They don't use that here.
No.
yeah.
So I have to get used to the new system
I'm
and
accustomed to
understand it.
zero balance,
I
and that's the
have-
reason I go low.
I have what's called the, and it's from the state auditor's office, but it's called the Ohio Village Officers Official Handbook.
Yeah, I have that too.
So that's what I've been going through and reading and trying to understand, you know, the information here
You're right.
and how the state auditor wants things done.
Yeah, again, I'd like to insert, because after some things I did again today, on language and so on. I don't think anyone's trying to hide anything here.
No.
I think it was an effort to try to most expediently make adjustments to allow for the proper accountability and hopefully audit, follow-up, and so on. And I don't think it's been an effort now, whether that was,
Well, you Cricket have a major question behind this. When can we start hiring?
you know,
That to me should be a top priority.
Because, like I said, I get phone calls,
Mayor?
and people are upset. Their homes, their
Mayor?
cars. Clay even had his,
you got a fox hunt going on.
Well, let's bring that up Monday, because that's out of the finance committee. I'm going to put, so, I don't know if it's a recommendation, we'll go to your over here, but finance committee also wants to know when can we start hiring officers.
That's good.
And
At one point, she was
okay.
asked that question was early on, and she said, oh, we had one application turned in, or that was her answer at that time. Now, that's gonna be different now, I would assume.
But you also have to realize that she's in a bad position because we're not given enough money for salary. She has competition from all other areas who are, that are hiring.
Right, yeah, I agree.
and I'm not
Thank you,
saying
thank you.
anything was trying to be
It's no
hidden.
down to
I'm just
7,000.
saying, this was a situation that council should have been, and the finance committee should have been made aware of, so that we knew and could be prepared, you know, for the ordinance.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's one reason I wasn't here.
Can
I didn't have enough, I did not have enough
Here's
information
the
to
chart.
present to you. I didn't have enough information about, with this, we got our information, we have our questions. Are there any other questions? Then let's have a, adjournment. We've been here beating this dog
Can I,
now.
Tom, can I give you this one sheet of paper?
Yeah, sure, you can hand it out.
It's, so this is her cheat sheet that she has on her desk out there.
Yeah.
So do you see over to the right column, the 400 series?
Yes.
This is what Kitty was just asking about.
The fund, yeah. So the first, go clear to the left at the top. See how it says fund names? So those are fund names.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not, well, they're fund names. And then you've got, so there's program codes, there's object codes, which is the middle code, right?
Right.
And then there's object, okay. And then over here, there's more object codes. But anyway, so the 400, no matter whether you're talking about the fire department, the police department, or whatever, the 400 series, go to that. It's office supplies, repairs, and all of that, right? Small tools. So it's going to be repeated, so you just have to, if you learn how to read the numbers.
I like the cheat sheet. Okay,
Yeah.
can I have a second to adjourn our meeting?
Second.
Second, it's over.
Thank you.
Don't
Thanks,
need a
guys.
second to adjourn.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this needs to
This
get
one
done.
you do need separate.
Do we have the green books to sign, Kitty?
Pardon?
The green books to sign.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, guys.
Can you copy that? Man, that's still, this job is still in the, every time I want to print something else, this draft rules revision thing,
I printed all of my stuff at all on my own.
it's a mess. I can't.
Can you clear it? Can you clear it? I didn't.
I couldn't clear it. The computer's smarter than me.
And 88 copies instead of 8.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Man, did I screw that up. This is useful at this time.
Would you wait and sign this, please?
Yeah, you want to sign this way?
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Thanks. You have a copy?
Tom,
Can I have a
me.
I have
pen?
all my stuff right here for my
Well,
recommendation.
I need a copy of it. I didn't get a copy. Why didn't you make one? Oh, I got that. I want to,
Tom, before you leave, I have, thanks to the mayor,
Yeah.
and something being left on the copier
oh,
overnight.
right, honey.
Just put it between us.
I have
Put
something.
it between
You
us.
just leave it.
Yeah, we'll save that paper, we'll be like California there. We'll save,
Okay, sir.
save paper.
Good plan.
Well, that's the worry out of the way. You hear me?
Take care of it.
I'm saying, what's that? The more we have operation, less we have stuff.
Yeah.
You need green book up there.
Yeah, thanks, I need to sign it.
Page 8. And I think this is it, I got a complete set. Did Tom already leave?
I must have.
Oh, there he is, I gotta grab him. I don't have time to staple.
I'm gonna give you a stapler. I think I have an extra one at home.